Hi, and welcome to another episode of Digging for Gold. I'm Dan Goldberg, your host, also known as Bearded Brilliance on TikTok and Bearded Brilliance for You on Instagram. And today we have every week it's another special guest. He's a really special guy. He's a professor and a lecturer on robotics and AI. I guess it's Joe Oakes, my good friend, another good friend. Joe has lectured on those topics all over the world, literally, in China, in India, in Germany, in Denmark, in the Netherlands, and of course, all over the United States and many other countries as well. Even Morocco, I think, and
No,
Turkey.
not
Not
Morocco.
Morocco?
Turkey.
Turkey,
Yeah.
yes. Okay. So I missed one, but there's others I didn't say, right? Joe, I respect you. I've worked with you for many years.
Mm.
I know your knowledge on robotics and AI. I have a question for you because we surveyed our listeners and they wanted to know more about AI, robotics, and of course businesses and so forth. But
Hmm. Hmm.
what do you see as the current state of robotics and the future of robotics?
Hmm. Okay, it's a great question, Dan. Really, I think we should talk about robotics and AI because
Great.
really, I would start out with AI first because um, what I envision that I think is going to happen is you have white collar jobs and you have blue collar jobs, and right now a lot of people are worried about their white collar jobs being taken over by artificial intelligence. And this is through the whole chain of different jobs
Mm-hmm.
from the top on down, and companies are, I guess, enjoying the release of what's happening with AI and how it's impacting their organizations. Because if you remove people and put it with these expert system AI, it cuts costs.
Mm-hmm.
But it's right now, I think a lot of people are scared, So I see AI right now as an assistive tool.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it assists me with whatever I'm trying to do. So, for example, like a spell checker, right? I mean, if you had a spell checker that was an assistive tool that helped you spell better when you were composing something.
Mm-hmm.
So now with AI, I use it again as an assistive tool, and not just for composition of, say, uh, some kind of document, but I mean, really to almost check something, check my knowledge, or assist an area where maybe I don't have knowledge in to kind of build knowledge. So I see it as a knowledge building tool also, and an assistive tool during the workday, whether you're doing some coding or you're doing some business activities. Yeah, I see that. Kind of changing the workforce and the workplace, definitely. So the best way to really prepare for this, I think, and I've been through different technology trends over the years, is you want humans doing smart human things too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to have humans, I would say, doing just tasks that are very I wouldn't say repetitive per se, but like that you could either have them I wouldn't say mechanically done, but like
Mm-hmm.
is there ways that we could make the humans do what they're best at, and that is, it comes down to their creative spirit of how they can analyze something and put their creative spin on it. And that's, I would say that's where AI, it's just building off of analog, or building off of models, right, that have been created. So it you create these models, many models, and then it's going through that algorithm, right? And through that algorithm, that's what you get for output.
So
So
those
yeah,
models are computer models,
yeah.
correct?
So yeah, and that's one of the big issues with AI is that everybody thinks, oh, it's AI is great, but there's a lot of human
Hmm.
tasks and intervention and hard work that has to go in to build these models. And all that physical work that goes into building that and to build the algorithms, right? It has to be there, and somebody has to do it,
So it's human
right?
input.
So you definitely, yeah, a human is building, at least right now, humans are doing a lot of the behind the scenes
Hmm.
work that's involved in this. And there's also, where is the power coming from to, you know, handle all these data centers and computing power? And that's a big issue if you start to think about, like, are we utilizing our energy resources smartly, right, for AI? Like,
Hmm.
are we getting our a good return on our investment, right? Because you think about it, just because we queue up a request with AI, there's a lot of work that has to happen behind the scenes, right, to make that response um, come out well formed.
Well, it seems like there are companies that are American companies and
Mm.
international companies coming to the United States to build AI factories, for
Yeah,
lack of a
yeah,
better term. But they're also, from what I understand, building their own energy systems within
sure,
their
sure.
factories so that
Yeah,
the
and
grid is not used for everything in AI. They're
yeah.
self contained units almost.
Which, when we had, and you go back, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, when we were building these massive data centers or
Right?
these cloud infrastructure centers, right? They would try to position them close to where there were power generating sources, because you can't just put it out in the middle of the desert with
Right.
no, right, power source. Um, and some of the data centers were built around reliable power sources, whether it's something sustainable like water generated,
Right.
solar generated,
Hydro, yeah.
hydro,
Yeah.
or
Thermal.
could even be gas or coal or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it comes down to, you could put the best data center, you could build it and do all, but if you don't have a good power source,
It's useless.
yeah, it's not
Isn't
gonna
it
work.
the same? And I know I'm crossing a little bit of a line here
Yeah,
uh, with cryptocurrencies.
yeah,
Is it the same with that? They need their own big power source as well. So power is a major thing.
yeah. I'd say power, and that's why, I mean, the United States does do a good job at reliable
Right.
power. Power generation, right? I mean, there's a lot of places in the world where they do generate power, but they're just not 24/7 reliable.
Yes, I've.
And there's resources that you need to generate power, and they might not have those resources available,
Yeah, the
right?
United States is advanced enough that it can
Yeah,
either have them
yeah.
available or create them
And
and
I
make them
mean,
available.
some of the newer power generating, research that's being done. Um, I'm not saying we're at that point yet where we would have unlimited power generation, but I mean, they're working on it, and there might be a time where yeah, we have unlimited power. But there's this great old sci-fi movie, and I can't remember what it's called, but the aliens, they come to Earth, and they come bearing gifts, right? All these great gifts, but it ends up destroying civilization and society because the first thing is they're aliens and they show up.
Right.
Well, then religion uh,
Right.
has a problem with that because
Yeah.
that's the first thing that starts to go. Then they give out medicine that says nobody will ever die. If you take this medicine, you can live forever. Well, that's a big problem because now if you have people living forever, right? I mean,
Right.
that's going to be a big problem for how you going to have Social Security. People live off Social Security forever, right? And so that
And
was
it
a
destroys
problem.
the pharmaceutical
So
companies.
yeah, it's pharmaceutical companies. It destroys all that, and then they gave out power. They said, "Here is, unlimited power. You can have energy whenever you need it." And then it destroyed because now you have oil companies. What are they going to do? So it's funny how this
Yeah.
sci-fi movie, and it's actually really pivotal in my development as a young person. I saw that and this is a black and white sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
We're talking probably done in the 50s. That they saw that uh, what you think might be your salvation or your savior could destroy everything you've established.
It's your ruination.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's,
So
it's wild. And it might be your ruination if you allow it to be. If you can figure out how to use it all
sure,
without freaking everybody out,
yeah.
then it becomes a different thing.
And maybe if it's a gradual,
Yeah.
where people adopt it gradually and you work it in and you figure out how it's, but, when these aliens showed up, they just basically handed all this off and it was chaos, so,
Yeah.
but I think that that's really, if you think about AI and robotics, right? I see them very tightly, they're going down pretty much the same pathway. AI is going after the white collar jobs, and robotics is going to go after the blue collar jobs, right? Because right now, everybody's saying, oh, you should be in blue collar because your job will be safe. You're a plumber or a carpenter, or, you're doing something with your hands where you have a skill and you have a trade, and that's true right now because robotics hasn't caught up yet. But every day there's advancements. I mean, I saw that they now have a robot dispensing popcorn robots. Yeah, where they can hand out go and scoop your popcorn and give you the popcorn. So now you don't, when you go to the movie theater, right? You don't need anybody behind the counter. They'll dispense your popcorn.
Really?
Yeah,
Will they dispense
yeah.
your soda?
So, I think they handle everything, and it's being put together probably by I think it's a Tesla location in California.
So let me understand this. You go to the movies and you speak to a robot that's probably human size,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
right? And you say, I want a soda and a popcorn.
Yeah.
And you probably just pay by holding up your card.
Sure. Yeah. Tap to pay and
Tap
then,
to pay, and that's
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, again, if you take humans out of the equation and you put robots in, I mean, robots don't complain, right?
I know. Yeah.
They
yeah.
work 24/7. I mean, you don't have to pay them benefits. But again,
Well,
I've been through different technology evolutions. Early on in my career, I did electronic data interchange. It was called EDI.
I remember
So
that, yeah.
EDI revolutionized how we transmit business documents. And so, like, for example, we worked with Ford Motor Company, and their procurement department let go like 500 people. But
What?
yeah, 500 people because they didn't need them anymore to enter all the business documents, orders, invoices. It all became electronic. So computer to computer communication now was available, right? So everything was electronic. Your order gets cut electronically, gets sent out to whatever distributors, and all the business transactions, the remittance, the invoice, ship notices, everything was electronic. You didn't need people. And taking people out of the equation also stopped the entry mistakes that were happening. And what would take, let's say, weeks of time to get these documents sent through the mail, now could be done in like 10 minutes. You could have all these business documents exchanged and funds transferred within the span of 10 minutes. So
It's
yeah.
it's crazy. I was speaking with someone about this the other day, and I may have mentioned it on a prior podcast. When was the last time you went to a bank to deposit money?
Sure.
Okay, you don't even have to go to a bank to get cash. You go to an ATM machine.
Yeah. Which
A-
all those transactions behind the scene use EDI.
There you
So
go.
yeah, and it was we saw all these people. Okay, these people lost their jobs, right? These procurement people, but they were mostly doing data entry, right? So get those humans doing other things that humans maybe do better than just doing typing and data
Yeah.
entry. Get them doing creative stuff or engineering or research or like, and that was how we always framed it, that get humans doing smart things that humans are good at doing. Um, but I think you need to be prepared for these evolutions, these shifts
Do
that
you
happen.
think that robotics and AI can then evolve into innovative entities?
Well, I mean, they're definitely gonna meld together. They're working together now. They're starting to take robotics and they're taking AI and they're embedding the AI in the robotics. So the robotics are more the physical, right? I mean, what do we need to do in the physical world? Whether it's you have a Roomba on the floor cleaning up, or
I do.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think, and I know in China, what's really big is helping elderly people. So elderly people need assistance, and they have such a large population where they don't have enough healthcare workers that can help elderly people. They're really thinking that robotics, so robotic helpers to help you, through your daily life, you get up, move around, whatever, maybe cook your meals that you can't do. So as the population gets older, and maybe the younger people don't want to assist the older people, there will be a workforce of robots that will assist us and help us out. And I think that that's a good, bright future, because it's a tough job,
It, it is a tough job,
Yeah.
especially if, even though the population on the planet is increasing, in a lot of places, births are not keeping up with
That's true.
age and deaths.
Yeah.
And then you brought up an excellent point that I really hadn't thought through about everybody wanting blue collar workers and what's going to happen to the blue collar workers when robotics can do blue collar work.
I hope that they're assisting, right? So I'm a plumber and I go out to a house, and let's say the basement's flooded. Well, it's a very dangerous situation, right? You don't
Yeah.
want to step in the water, could be electrified, right? I
Right.
mean, somebody could get hurt. So, yeah, for those dangerous jobs, maybe that's where robots can really assist us. Have the robot detect, is the water electrified, or is there a gas leak, or have sensors on the robot that assist us and make us better at what we can do. So I don't think it's all doom and gloom, like, oh, there's not going to be any plumbers in the future,
Right, right.
but I think plumbers will be better at what they can then do. You know, they can say, "Oh, go to the truck and get this fitting that I might need," right? As an again, assisting you whenever you need it. It's kind of like your companion. They're there for
Yeah.
you, and that's how I see it. You know, I wish I had a robot with me. Um, you know, just kind of assisting me in life. So,
It's interesting because one of the things that, and you brought up a great point about assisting,
hmm
police departments
yeah,
use robots for bomb squads
yeah, bomb
quite often.
squads. Yeah,
So it doesn't put the officer in danger
sure.
as much.
And the military does the
Military
same.
as well, yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
They
yeah,
have bomb squad robots
yeah.
to go on and defuse the potential bombs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a useful thing. I don't think, look, there could be robotic police and warfare has changed
Sure.
completely
Yeah.
with robotics and AI.
Yeah.
Drones are
Yeah.
just flying robots.
Yeah. I mean, you think how the drones have, really changed warfare. I mean, you get that heads up view, right? They can do
Hmm.
reconnaissance, they can do attacks now. So yeah, I mean, all these drones are now they're like you said, they're little robots that have some AI built into them, right?
And are weaponized.
And are weaponized. Yeah. So. Um, we need to be on the forefront of thinking about just because you come up with a technology, some people will use it for good or for evil.
Always.
And you have to really think about that. And also the legal aspects, right? I mean, I think that's a big problem with technology. We come up with something and we think it's so great, but then what are the social or the ethical or the
Economic,
legal
yeah.
or the economic impact, right, on that technology, whether it's AI or quantum computing or robotics. Like, yeah, I mean, there's always some impact, right?
It's interesting because there are no more toll takers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're gone. You
They're
never see a
gone.
toll taker.
Yeah.
But I wonder what it's going to do, and I want your opinion and thoughts on this
Mm.
as we move forward with education.
Mm.
I mean, I'm an educator. You're an educator.
Yeah.
How will that change education K through 12,
Mm.
and then at the university level, the college and the university level?
I mean, it's hard to make a prediction, but I mean, are you talking about the student impact or the teacher impact?
Both. Both.
Yeah. Yeah, so, the student impact, I think it's very easy to connect to AI when you need it. And again, as an assistive tool, but they're using it more as a like, help me get my homework done quickly tool, right? I mean,
Right,
that
right.
instant gratification, right? Where like, I don't want to wait and work for this. I want it right now. Give it to me, right?
Right.
That kind of that generation is used to that, right? I want to Google something, but now, and Google would give you a result set that was not so clearly, defined.
But Google in
Yeah.
itself is AI,
Yeah, I mean,
sort of.
it's collecting a
Hmm.
lot of data by crawling the web. It's building, metadata and indices, and then you're running through an algorithm when you say, "Give me the best pizza," right, near me, right? It's gonna look. It's already pre-built. It's gone out and already crawled the web, brought all that data back, and it's got a big indice. It knows that from that metadata where the pizza places are and the reviews and things like that. So yeah, it's so for students, I get it. They want the path of least resistance to get whatever task they have to get done. But as educators, I use AI also to, again, I wouldn't say fight against their use of AI, but to almost like counter it in some ways. Um, what I do for assignments, I ask students to make a video explaining the assignment. So they have to, record themselves explaining the whatever the assignment task was. They have to explain it to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had this problem before, even with the internet. They could Google, they could probably find whatever they were looking for that assignment, and they could submit it. And who knows, is it plagiarism or did they
Research.
actually? Yeah.
Is it
Or
what's the line between plagiarism and research?
yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough
it's
to
very-
really determine that. I mean, there's tools out there. There's actually AI tools now that will tell you with the degree of certainty, maybe 70%, we have a match that this was probably written by AI, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's AIs working to check, are they using AI, right?
It's interesting because if someone uses AI but they reference that they used AI, then it's okay
Yeah,
because it's a reference. Okay?
yeah.
But it's if they don't, then you get into plagiarism. But
Sure.
from a faculty perspective, a teacher perspective, what do you think the expertise will be? How do you see the expertise changing for faculty, or do you? Does it depend on the subject?
Yeah, it's a tricky thing. I mean, when I get a result set back from an AI query, like I always check it. Like I don't take it as though this is the gospel, right? Because I do use it as an assistive tool to learn new things and to help expand my knowledge, but I want to make sure that I understand everything that's in that result set. And I think that's where the students don't do that. They'll just take whatever they get and submit it, and some won't even read it to see.
know.
I mean,
I
like,
know.
at least, and I believe, look, AI is in the workplace, the students need to understand how to utilize this technology to make them marketable and to possess those kind of skill sets. But they can't just blindly just accept whatever it's doing. I think if we get to that point, I'm not saying we've lost our humanity, but I think AI, it has to be almost like fact check sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
you just want to make sure, because there could be a glitch in the algorithm. There could be glitches in the data source, or how is that data source collected? Like a good example is some semantics. Oh, well, if I say, Dan, do a search for gold. Well, am I talking about your ring that's made out of gold, or am I
Right.
talking about the color gold?
Right.
Or am
Good
I
point.
talking about Dan Goldberg, right? I mean,
Right.
like, so it's the semantics play a big part in that too.
And what about the biases of the people
Yeah.
who
Who
put in
the data source, sure,
for
sure.
AI?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that
yeah.
has to be there.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's a human thing. Everybody has
Whether
a bias.
it's done, it could have been done maybe with their knowledge or without their knowledge, right?
correct.
I mean,
Correct.
yeah, I mean, sometimes we have, I guess, biases we don't even realize.
Correct.
That unless somebody brings it to our attention.
Mm-hmm.
But exactly, I think AI, that could easily happen too, and you might not even be aware of it, right? So
Then that goes back to checking AI.
yeah, you got to. AI's got to be checked. I still believe, and I think even in the future, it's probably still a good thing to always check, right?
Yeah.
Because if you go back to Space Odyssey, right?
Mm-hmm.
2001,
2001.
right? I mean, the whole premise of that movie is really that how can humans, which are imperfect, build something
That's
that would be
perfect.
perfect?
Yeah.
And we can't, right? Because
We
we're
can't.
not perfect.
Right.
So, I mean, the how computer broke because we built something that wasn't perfect because we're not perfect.
That
So,
that Joe, that's an excellent point.
yeah.
It's a great point. So therefore, AI, I'm extrapolating what you
Mm,
said. AI will never be perfect
sure.
because it's built upon an imperfect platform, the
Yeah.
human mind, the
Sure.
human being,
Yeah.
all our biases, all our knowledge, the good and the bad, is all in our these computers in our heads,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just send it out to a computer that's a computer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
from looking at it from a universal perspective, including universities and industry and so forth, will the leader, whether that leader is a professor, a teacher, or a general manager, do you think that they will have to know more about AI
Mm.
in their profession,
Yeah.
and also robotics? I'm talking
Yeah.
about maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now.
I think it's even sooner than that, Dan.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I like those timelines. You know,
Mm-hmm.
5 year plan, 10 year plan, 30 year plan. But I think things are happening so fast right now that you know it's almost months, like 5 months.
It's
Like
true.
what is going to change? But to get back to one thing, I do want to make mention, and this is something we do in robotics a lot. Is you always have systems checking other systems. So a good example might be like the Tesla car that
Mm-hmm.
you know is doing their auto driving feature. You would put different types of sensors and different types of systems in that would be checking each other. You might have, a vision system checking, let's say, a LiDAR system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the LiDAR might say, hey, there's something in front of me. Does that agree with the vision system, right? So
Mm.
this is how in robotics, we do this all the time. We try to check, right? And you don't want to have, say, duplicate sensors because maybe whatever is making the one sensor bad, right, could be making
Right.
the other sensor bad. So I have a quick story on robotics that, so we used to have this campus crawl where robots had to autonomously crawl the campus, okay?
Real robots?
Yeah, real robots. But
Okay.
a hobby person, a college, anybody could build a robot and had to crawl the campus autonomously, not teleoperated. So the day before I saw the team, they were navigating, they were doing a good job. The day of the event, right, their robot went 1 foot and then stopped, and they couldn't figure out why. And I knew right away what it was. It was nature had stopped it. So there was a cherry tree that had pink petals that had fallen down. The day before, they were not there, but there was a storm at night, and the pink petals had fallen on the black, asphalt
Mm-hmm.
that the robot was using. So it saw like the black asphalt, but then it stopped because it was covered in pink petals, and the
Wow.
and the
Wow.
robot didn't know what to do
Wow.
because it thought, hey, I'm going off into an empty, crevasse or something,
Yeah.
right? So that's where you think, okay, I'm putting everything I can into this algorithm, but then nature, right, finds a way to do something to you, right? Throw something at you that you were not expecting
Hmm.
because nature does that, right? It's always trying to, survive and live, and it's very dynamic. I mean, weather patterns, things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's very challenging. You think of every case, but have you thought of every
That
case? So
That example is great.
it is.
It,
It's a
it's great.
classic robotic,
Yeah,
example. So
that could be repeated an innumerable amount of times,
yeah, yeah.
so that it could create a robotic situation that nobody thought of, as you
Hmm.
just gave the example of, and shut down everything
Yeah, with a bunch of rose petals,
with a bunch of rose petals.
or cherry tree petals. It was,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But
cherry
whatever it
trees. Yeah,
is,
yeah,
it's something that people don't think about.
yeah, yeah. So that's why you got to really, when you engineer something, you have to think about all the different cases, and you got to have different type of systems checking each other, right? This is what I see. What actually is it, right? And that's why AI has to be checked. Like, there's got to be checks and balances, because if they're critical, if they're being used in critical infrastructure systems, like, that could be worrisome. I mean, we
Yeah.
used to work with EDI on uh, nuclear power plants. So the equipment that would be sent to the nuclear power plants would, come through our processing. So you got to make sure, like, if you
Yeah.
drop a character, right, that could be disastrous. One character
Yeah.
could have
In
been
the
a
code.
measurement.
In the
Yeah.
code.
Well, this was actually in the data, but
In the
yeah, I
data.
mean, if
Okay.
you
Yeah.
drop one character in a piece of code, that could be disastrous
Yeah.
too. But yeah, that's a big problem that you got to be careful of.
So therefore, there will, to my estimation, never be a case where humans are completely omitted. Because if AI
Mm.
is is checking AI, who's checking the checker?
That sounds like a good sci-fi movie.
It does. It sounds like a sci-fi. Something that you talked about at
Yeah,
the
I mean,
beginning.
again, those aliens came down, and if they gave us AI, some beautiful AI where we didn't need, humans for, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
Yeah. See, AI, and I could be wrong, can't. And we talked about this in a prior episode to some
Mm,
degree. Uh, can't bring culture.
mm,
Can't bring emotional intelligence. Can't bring interaction with humans like humans interact with each other. So there's always that human interaction element that, to my belief, I could be wrong, will always be sustained throughout this evolution of AI and robotics.
Well, there's different thoughts on that, Dan.
Okay.
There are people who believe we're just chemical robots, right? If you think about
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
we
yeah.
are chemical robots. We're just a bunch of chemicals and electrical
Yeah.
signals. I mean, what if you can do this, right? Why can't you build the same mechanic,
robot that
a
can do that?
robot that can behave like us? So, I mean, there's some psychologists and that believe that, yeah, that we can be replicated at some point. Maybe just the technology's not there yet.
Maybe. It's
But
sort of like, can robots feel?
yeah. Yeah, I
Maybe
mean, will they have emotions? Will they have a
Yeah,
creative spirit?
yeah,
Will
yeah.
they have empathy for, what they're doing? I mean, all these things are great, great questions, and it's hard to, foresee the future of where that's going. Will they be? They could be algorithms, but who's to say maybe there isn't an algorithm for our empathy,
Well, it's true.
right? I
That's
mean,
true.
that we don't realize we're actually processing in our brain.
We,
So.
we, we may not realize it, but on the other hand, psychologists, psychiatrists, mental health workers,
Mm,
they may realize something is wrong with the connectivity and the neurons in this person's computer, which is their brain,
sure, sure.
which well, it's the same thing with dementia or Alzheimer's. So,
Yeah, yeah,
it's a buildup of plaque or whatever it is.
yeah.
So you're bringing up a good point, Joe. I mean, who knows 30 years, 50 years from now that robots may be sitting here and
Yeah.
talking and doing the same thing.
Sure, sure.
But it will be fascinating to see. It'll be
I
like you
think
said
this
earlier,
to be
fascinating to
a
see as
young
we go.
person right now
Oh,
to think, what we've seen in our lifetime, right? I mean, how far some technologies like mobile phones. I mean, just think in 20 years, how far mobile phones have come. Think
yeah.
about how far the internet has come. How far robotics, AI. I mean, yeah, quantum computing. Quantum computing we could have a whole discussion about that and how that could change everything.
Could change
I
everything.
mean, and I'm not, yeah, I mean, just not change computing as we know it, but I mean, it could change the world as we know it.
Yes, yes,
So,
it could. The world is changing at a rapid
yeah,
pace
yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
and it may lead to a greater, more prosperous world for everybody,
sure.
or it may lead to total destruction.
Yeah,
Anything's
again,
possible. I mean,
again with those aliens flying down, they
yeah,
bring us these great gifts, right? And it's up to us to decide: are we gonna, run around and have chaos because we don't understand these tools we've been given, or are we gonna try to channel them and, like you said, maybe just adapt them slowly and figure out where's the best, fit it in here, and not just lose our minds and get crazy and
take the time
so
to step back
step
and
back,
analyze things.
think about the social and the legal and the ethical impacts, and that's when I think technology really shines, is when we think about its usage and not just rush into something and think it's great and we apply it, and then, oh man, we didn't even really think that somebody would use that for evil, or yeah.
Exactly,
So
exactly.
yeah, and I think we really, if you look back, that's where technology has really shined, is we put the time into that,
Hmm.
So hopefully that's what we do. I really hope it's a bright future, not a doom and gloom future,
Right.
because I feel like, I consider myself a technologist, not a robotic person
Hmm.
or a IT person. I just enjoy technology and the application of it, for the betterment of just
Society.
society. Yeah. So,
So, are we are we looking at it as a more human future
mm.
or a more humane future?
I see it more as an integrative future. That's
Okay.
what I hope for, that we adapt, right, to it. And because if we don't adapt and it takes over and we're not checking it and working with it, then we're in trouble, probably. Yeah,
I would say we would be in big trouble.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
So,
mean, we have to be knowledgeable. We have to integrate with it. We have to understand it. We have to work hard. We can't let it rule us. We
right.
have to be in control of it. But that takes work, right? We can't be lazy. If we're going to be lazy and not disciplined, then yeah, it'll probably take over, and you know,
And that
it's
could be
not a
difficult for some people to
sure,
not
sure.
be lazy.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's the ones who are not lazy.
yeah.
You got to watch, are the ones who are not lazy evil people,
Mm,
okay? Or are the ones who are not lazy empathetic people, kind people?
mm,
And we have to teach that. We have
yeah.
to teach empathy and teach kindness so that we don't
And teach
destroy.
discipline and
And
teach. I
discipline
think
is,
discipline is
yes,
really important. Um, because life is hard. It
it
actually is
is.
hard. I mean, you have to work at it to be successful and to have a good, happy life. It takes work.
Takes work.
Um,
And
and
consideration.
and consideration for
Yeah,
other people. And I think
exactly.
when we work together, we can achieve great things. But with all this AI and robotics, and if we work hard at it, we'll achieve things that we probably have never, and we are right now. I mean, it's achieving things that we never thought was possible. I
It's
mean,
true.
languages that couldn't be deciphered, these codecs, we're using AI to
Hmm.
decipher these codecs, or to look at texts that were unreadable and make sense of them. So, I
You're
mean,
right.
cancer, it can detect looking at an image of, let's say, your skin or something like that, and it can say, well, with whatever degree of certainty from this algorithm, we think this might be a cancerous cell or non-cancerous
Yeah.
cell.
Yeah.
And that's huge that we didn't have those kind of tools, assistive tools, to look at your skin or your throat or whatever the cancer, wherever it might be, do detection, do remediation, early on.
And the same with DNA. It can
Yeah,
tell you
sure.
what you're susceptible to
Yeah,
in all kinds of things.
yeah, yeah.
And you learn about yourself
Mm-hmm.
to prevent things,
Yeah,
hopefully, and keep moving forward, keep building.
yeah, and
And
hopefully our life expectancy keeps
yeah,
growing, and
I hope so.
because again we've got a hopefully another great technology along for the ride, right? For our
Yeah.
life, great. We got mobile devices, but maybe we have an assistive robot that hangs out with us,
Right.
right?
Right.
And like a partner almost. That there's many times where I was like, man, I wish I had. A buddy right now to help me with whatever project I'm working on, lifting something, or working on your car or working on your house.
Yeah.
How great would that be to have an assisted person? And to help your parents, would you spend, say, $40,000, which maybe that's the price for a car? You spend $40,000 to have somebody 24/7 robotic with AI intelligent assisting
Your
your
parents.
parents or assisting
Great.
you,
It's great.
right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was a guy who did a YouTube video
Mm,
named Pranav Mistry. I think his last name was Mystry, something like that. And it was in 2009. I saw it, and it's called The Sixth Sense, not to be confused with the movie of the
yeah.
same name. And he saw some really cool things. I think now he was hired by Samsung or whatever. A very innovative guy, and I'll never forget. He said our cell phones eventually will become basically obsolete because you can see it on your hand.
Sure.
You put it on your hand, you dial right on your hand, all
Mhm.
these other things. And if you get a chance, folks, Google Pranav Mystery, The Sixth Sense. And the stuff that he was talking about, some of which have already come to pass. The stuff you're talking about, some have come to pass, but some are out there in the future that people will have to work diligently on. And for the benefit of mankind, not the destruction of mankind. And we have to be careful about that.
Yeah, I'd like to think of it positively.
Yeah, I
right?
like
I
to
mean, a
think of it
positive
positive.
future. Not doom and gloom, but again, but it takes work. You
Does
have
take
to
work.
be involved. You have to be engaged. You have to understand these technologies. You have to work with them. You can't just let them.
Yeah.
Not.
Like something on your phone that all of a sudden calls you from somewhere, and it's like, I know that I was.
Sorry about
So
that.
that's okay,
Yeah.
because it just proves the point. It proves the point where technology is taken us from, if you recall, and I'm sure you do, you had to get a long distance carrier for your phone in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm driving along and I get a phone call. It's from my friend in Istanbul,
Mm.
in my car, in my pocket.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what's next? And then when I was 10 years old, I may have mentioned this in another podcast, my father said to me, Danny, someday you'll be able to make a phone call and see the person you're talking to.
Mm.
And now it's nothing. It's
Yeah, I think
FaceTime.
they had that on the Jetsons. I think.
I guess they did have it.
It was on your watch.
Yeah,
though. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, and now it's on my watch.
Yeah, yeah.
and
I think
can
George could talk to.
Yeah, and Dick Tracy watches. And
Yeah,
stuff.
sure,
All
yeah,
that
Dick
stuff
Tracy,
came to
yeah.
fore, and the stuff that you're talking about now, that we talked about in this episode, I think will come to fore. I do see that for the betterment of mankind.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what's up in 20 years, in 30 years.
5
Okay,
years.
5 years.
5 years. I
Or
would
even
say it'll be
5
a
months.
completely different world. I mean, robotics is just really taken off, and so is AI. I think, and quantum computing. I see those as the really three hot,
Whoa.
technologies. So
Joe, this has
Yeah.
been an inspiring
yeah,
time sitting with you,
yeah, it was good. Good,
learning
thank
from you,
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
and having this conversation with you. So
All
I
right,
want to
cool.
thank you again,
Okay,
friends.
thanks, guys.
Joe Oakes,
Yeah, thanks.
he's the man,
Ah.
really, when it comes to all things technological, robotic, and so forth, AI. Joe, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Dan, for
Once
having
again.
me on your
Yep.
show. Yeah.
Please subscribe. Go to that subscribe button below. And I want to thank you for listening. Also, don't forget Bearded Brilliance on TikTok, Bearded Brilliance for you on Instagram, and Digging for Gold on Spotify, and Dan G for you too on YouTube, which is what we're on. We're on both of those. So please subscribe to everything if you can. Thanks again, Joe.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, take care, folks.